Hey, yo, what's good, man? It's your boy Derek Branch here, same discussions on Strike 7 Sports. In today's video, I just want to talk about, the recent, reports, not reports, rankings that are, and how, the national, I'll say national publications, platforms a little bigger than mine, view the New Orleans Saints and, their situation, the running back situation going forward in the future based on certain, new stories that have been put out lately. But I'll get more into that later in the video. But first, I want to talk about a outlet named Pro Football Network. One of the I would say that it's on the level of what of Pro Football Focus and one of the bigger sites out there that cover all 32 teams in the National Football League with analysis, breakdowns, mock drafts, opinions, news, things like that. And they're just giving the recent article they put out a few days ago, ranked the all 32 offenses in the National Football League, and they decided to rank the Saints at 21. And I'm just gonna go ahead and I got the write up of what they put for why the Saints are ranked at 21. Quote: Derek Carr should help New Orleans offense improve in big ways, but outside of Chris Olave, the receiving core isn't projected to do well. It could be the case that we see the old Michael Thomas, which would be a huge help, but hoping for it along with an offensive line that is certainly not what it once was is a bit much, end quote. So that's what the write-up they put about the New Orleans Saints and why the offense was ranked 21st. The projected to be the 21st offense on their rankings going into this season. So in front of the Saints, you had the Giants at 17, the New York Giants, not the Giants, my bad, the Detroit Lions at 17, the Giants at 18, New England at 19, and the Cleveland Browns at 20. So I'm going to have the article posted down below in the description box of this video so y'all can go ahead and look at the whole thing, view the entire thing and see, why they rank the Saints the way they are. But I'll just give you a snippet of why they put the Saints at 21. So they base the rankings on the quarterback that you have, the type of quarterback you have, what the team pulled off in the draft, and free agency and earning EPA, I believe, per play, earning perks per play, something like that, some type of metric, and free agency in the draft, and what's already surrounding that quarterback, that offense right now. So this just adds more into the narrative of, from a national perspective on the Saints, and a lot of people believe that this is not a good receiving core, and people just don't. They're just not sold on Rashid Shaheed outside of Saints circles, like guys like me, Nick Underhill, Big Q, you know what I'm saying, Ross Jackson. They don't view the Rashid Shaheed like that. They're just not sold yet, And like I said in the previous video, Rashid Shaheed was like the best player on offense for the Saints on certain games last year. You know what I'm saying? So, and they don't believe that the offense, I give them that though. The offensive line is clearly not what they used to be, man. Saints, around when Drew Brees was around, the Saints had one of the best offensive lines in the National Football League. Hands down. Ryan Ramczyk got paid, and this is like he just can't stay healthy right now. Every time an injury report comes out, Ryan Ramczyk's on the rest list, veterans day off list. That's just what it is, man. It's still a solid, formidable line, man, but it ain't what it was, man. It just now, defensive ends could get past that first wall, could get past, Ryan Ramczyk, could get past an Andrews Pete. You know what I'm saying? Could win a battle with Eric McCoy. And Eric McCoy, one of the best centers in the league. It's gonna be a lot of eyes gonna be on Trevor Penning, man. Trevor Penning, Cesar Ruiz. Those are two the youngest guys on that offensive line. Eric McCoy still young. You know what I'm saying? So those are valid points. You know, the offensive line could be a bit shaky. You know, Chris Olave, people just ain't ready to get on the Michael Thomas, you know, hype train just yet. And for obvious reasons, you know, I don't blame them. Because last year, people was trying to, you know, people believed that Michael Thomas was going to play, you know, an entire season and get back to doing what he does best. But that never really happened. And you know why? You know what I'm saying? So the Saints just have to go out. The Saints just gonna have to go out there and just prove everybody wrong. You know, and do what they need to do to be better. You know what I'm saying? And Derek Carr, people believe that Carr is an upgrade over Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton, but that's about it. Some people think the Saints can win the division, but they won't go that far. And this is kind of adds to the whole idea of this going off and getting Devontae Adams. Wherever that rumor's been coming from, it seems to come about every month. Every month. You know what I'm saying? And as I said in a previous video, I don't think the Saints are going to spend the money on a wide receiver with that $14 million. I think that's going to go towards another defensive end. If they feel as though that player can fit into the current scheme of the defense. So it is what it is, man. I think they believe they got a formidable receiving corps, but we'll see. You know, Rashid Shaheed, you got Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Michael Thomas, and you got the rookie A.T. Perry. I hope everything is okay in regards to this situation. You know what I'm saying? He comes to camp ready to go, but we'll see. You know what I'm saying? So, folks just ain't sold yet. You know, James Washington's on the team, big play guy, down the field threat. He didn't play at all last year, for the most part. So, you can't fool nobody with that one. You know, Brian Edwards coming over from Atlanta and Kansas City, he didn't saw enough action. And he's familiar with Derek Carr. You know? And they forgot him. They don't think Alvin Kamara is once what he was. You know, a few years ago. They overlooked Jawan Johnson, overlooked Jamal Williams. They don't believe that Williams is gonna have that type of season again where he throw rushes for 1,000 yards and get 17 touchdowns. They just ain't sold yet, man. They don't believe the offense is one of the top tiers, one of the top units in the league right now. But we'll see how it play out, man. I'm expecting a lot from Pete Carmichael this year. I'm expecting a lot from him in regards to him being the offensive coordinator and the play caller, man. Can he get this offense to 2011, 2012 levels of where he was calling the plays in a lot of games? Can he do that with this quarterback, with Derek Carr? So excuses out the window, and we'll see how it's going to play out. All right, I want to segue to another topic as well. I want to talk about the current running back situation with the Saints and how could they possibly pay these guys in the future. Because as many of you already know about the situation with Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Tony Pollard. All the running backs. These running backs are the best at the position right now. I know some of the best at their position right now. They got similar skill sets like an Alvin Kamara. You know, they can catch passes out of the backfield, be a receiver, line up in the slot, especially Saquon Barkley and Tony Pollard. Josh Jacobs is more of the traditional bell cow, but he have he's a receiver to a certain extent. They don't use him in that capacity, but you get the point. My thing is, how will the Saints go about paying that position going forward in the future? How that's going to play out now? Because 90% of the time, if you're really good, if you play with the Saints and you're really good, you have talent, they will pay you 90% of the time. 90 to 95% of the time, they will extend you. They'll sign you to a new deal once free agency is up. They did it with Michael Thomas. Did it with Drew Brees. Of course, they did it with Drew Brees. Michael Thomas, Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Ryan Ramczyk, Eric McCoy, Jawan Johnson, Teron Armstead before he left. There's a player here or two that they'll let walk, pursue free agency. It happens. But for the most part, Cam Jordan as well, but for the most part, the Saints pay their best players. They usually do. Now, this running back situation is a little tricky now, given the fact that teams are just not budgeting on the contract to give a running back based on that market value. You know what I'm saying? They're just not budgeting on it right now. And Josh Jacobs won the rushing title last season. You know what I'm saying? Tony Pollard had a solid year. Stepping in for Ezekiel Elliott. But for his situation is a little different. 4th round pick, you pretty much have to take that $10 million. So he took he signed his franchise tag deal, and he's getting $10 million this year. How will the Saints approach that situation going forward? If Kendry Miller gets to his next contract, if he plays to his potential, outplays that contract, because that's what a lot of running backs do that are, excuse me, wait a second, that are picked in the 2nd, the 4th, 5th round, and they ball out. They outperform those cheap contracts, and when it's time to pay them again, it's like when it's time to get to their second contract, which is the most important one of their careers, it's like they're being punished for it. I saw a quote today from Nick Chubb on Twitter saying that it's like you could have a breakout season and break records and all that, set records, but it's like when it comes to money situation, the contracts, it's like you're being punished. So how the Saints are going to approach that situation going forward? Are they going to, let that player walk? Or are they going to decide to bring a deal in? Not bring a deal in, but negotiate a deal, like a team-friendly deal. Something to think about. Because they say that you can get a running back in any round of the draft and he could have the same level of production. That's not always true. Because I've seen with the Saints that whenever Kamara's not in the game, the running back position was pretty much screwed. We saw that a few years ago. This year they was a little more aggressive, trying to backfill that position by signing Jamal Williams and also drafting Kendry Miller. You know what I'm saying? So, interesting to see how they're going to deal with that situation going forward. Because, to be honest with you, if the running back position wants to get paid their what they believe is their market value at that time, they're going to have to change the CBA. Like right now. Before the season starts. Impossible. And that's never happened before. They've never modified the CBA, which stands for collective bargaining agreement, after that has been signed between the players and the owners. They never went in and modified it, as far as I know. You know what I'm saying? So that's what needs to happen for these running backs, man. And it's going to be interesting how the Saints are going to approach that situation, because they're one of the teams that usually, that, like I said, pays their best players. You know what I'm saying? It pay their best players on the team. You've seen it throughout throughout the whole Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton era. Is that something that's gonna change going forward? You know, because they'll do it, and they'll be the team that everybody gonna take, that's gonna slam for paying that position. You know what I'm saying? That's something to think about. So we'll see how it play out, man. Interesting. It just things an interesting discussion to have, interesting question to raise about the Saints going forward and how they pay that running back position, because the running back is a very, important piece, moving piece in the Peyton-driven offense. Because they want the running backs to be good at pass protection, run the football, line up in the slot, act as a receiver, sometimes play on punt return. We've seen it throughout the era of Sean Payton. Reggie Bush was returning kicks at one point. Same with Alvin Kamara. You know what I'm saying? So, something to talk about, and we'll see. All right, so that's all for right now, man. Give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel. How you feel about the Saints offense being ranked 21st by Pro Football Network? How you feel about how do you think the Saints will address the running back position when it comes to free agency in the future? Also, check out saintdiscussions.com for latest content on the New Orleans Saints organization. I got a new article out there right now that was released on Friday that ranks the top 5 passing seasons during Drew Brees' time with the New Orleans Saints. Also, training camp starts this upcoming week. I'll be having some new stories come out, new content, new videos, written pieces as well, and we'll see how everything gonna play out in regards to this preseason and training camp. Have a blessed Sunday. Peace. I'm out. Who that?